pickguards and Gibson acoustics is a really interesting subject. Certain pickguards are so classic. On a hummingbird is one of the most famous dreadnoughts, or square shoulders. And on the hummingbird guitar is a beautiful engraved hummingbird sitting on, well, actually is an inlaid mother of pearl in some cases. It's engraved and sitting on its branch. Beautiful. And on the dove, it's an inlaid dove. Now that is very, very important because that became a symbol of the style of that guitar's design.
The significance of birds at Gibson actually goes back a very long way. So starting with the Kelkroyden models, which was kind of Gibson's own house brand of instruments in circa 1930. They had a model with these beautiful toucans adorning the outside. And these birds, were so popular, they made their way to other models. Gibson had an Oriole model out of their Kalamazoo brand, and then didn't really do anything with birds post-war until the late 1950s when a pattern maker named Hartford Snyder volunteered to create some artwork for the pickguard of a new model that they were working on called the hummingbird.
He loved nature and he was very artsy. He loved his job at Gibson. I read that by the historian's accounts. And what Hartford did, he engraved a beautiful image of a hummingbird and colored and painted it.
That became part of the identity of the guitar, and today we all know the hummingbird, we all know the dove. Back in the day when we were working on J200s, for example, it was as much as putting a pickguard that was functional, but also a pickguard that was beautiful and became part of the DNA of the guitar.
One of the things that separates Gibson Acoustic from other brands is the iconic pickguards and the variety of pickguards that we use on all of our models. Historically, we've done the different shapes, the different designs, the different inlays, the different materials, and it really just does separate us out from most other builders just with the personality that the guitars have. Some of the historic guards that Gibson Acoustic uses, of course, is our very iconic teardrop. Everyone knows for being the pickguard that's on a J45. Fire stripe. That's the name we have for this material that you see on some of the old advanced jumbos and old Southern jumbos. Of course, the J200 with the flowers and the dots, and the iconic hummingbird. Hummingbird is just a beautiful guitar. This particular hummingbird pickguard is from the original mold from Kalamazoo, and it is used on our 60s hummingbird custom historic model. We've also done some custom variations on the historic bird guitars, the hummingbird and the dove. We've been building these as what we used to call designer customs. Now they're part of the custom modern collection. We did a variation on a hummingbird, and this is called the Hummingbird Custom Koa. This is a beautiful Koa instrument, ab trim top, gorgeous detailing. And the pickguard, of course, has the birds and flowers on it, a little bit more ornate and unique away from our original hummingbird pickguard, and all the detail work on these are all hand done.
No two pickguards are the same. I do everything freehand. If I have an idea, I'll change the engraving a little bit, but by doing it freehand, every inlay is completely original. Completely different, has its own identity. I use what is called a turbo engraver, just a pneumatic pen with a diamond tip on it, and you basically draw designs in the inlay, concentrating now hard to make sure that you're drawing a straight line. It's not simply like taking a pen and making a mark. You're using a rotating diamond bit, and you want to make sure that you're drawing a clean line. It's very easy to go off track. I call it dynamic tension, where you're rigid and you're making sure that everything is flowing smoothly. Otherwise, the bit can grab a hold of a soft piece of shell and all of a sudden run away with you.
Historically, our Gibson pickguards have been made out of a product called nitrocelluloid. It's actually gunpowder, but it's formulated into a solid. It's only one place in the world that makes it, over in Italy, and they will formulate it into our requested what we call tortoise shell look or the fire stripe look. It's made in a 400-pound block, and then it has to come over by ship because it's flammable. You can't fly it. So it's very, very expensive, very labor intensive to make. Once it gets to New York City, there's a company there that slices the big blocks into sheets in varying thicknesses for our different applications. Then it has to hang and cure because it's very active, it's releasing solvents. Once it is acclimated and ready to go, they will send those sheets out to us where we create the pickguards in-house for the bulk of our guitars. All of them that use nitrocelluloid are made in-house by our team of luthiers and guitar makers. We do use various processes to create our pickguards with the iconic designs. We have a machine, it's called a hot stamp machine. And this particular pickguard, what it has is plates that emboss the different colors through a colored foil into the top of the pickguard. And on a guitar that has various colors, they will use different plates to emboss the different colors into different locations. We also have pickguards that are laser or CNC engraved and then hand painted. And those are pretty much on our custom models and higher end product.
I received the pickguards from the CNC with the cavities already prepared for me to put the inlay in. And some of it is mother of pearl and some of it is abalone, depending on the pickguard that it's required for. And I glue it in and set it in place, all the different pieces, let it dry, and then I will hand sand it down to level sand it off and buff it out and prepare it for engraving. And then it gets engraved, and then I touch it up with a little bit more buffing and prepare it for production.
On our historic guitars, such as our 57 J200 and our 60s Hummingbird from our historic collection, again, we use these pickguards that are created in the original molds from the Kalamazoo factory that we rescued. So these are cast, they get to Montana, and then they are hand painted by our artists and luthiers. Really unique look, and just the amount of handwork that goes into just the pickguard in this guitar is astronomical.
There's no mistaking a Gibson guitar. You can see it a mile away. You know, and I take pride in that, you know, to uphold that tradition and to, as I say, give my own flavor, my own artistic intuition to the designs and whatnot, to carry on that Gibson tradition.